Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Get in Tune. I'm Michael Gracia, and sorry, I'm just trying to make this a little larger here. I hope you can hear me. If you cannot, please let me know. My mic seems to be working, but occasionally I have some mic issues. Already in the chat, hi Dylan, thanks for tuning in. So let me explain what I'm going to do for. Oh, before I forget, number one, right? Let's do the normal stuff. Please go on to Amazon.com and you can find the Whimsical Wiz, the complete 2023 collection. You can look at uh, Bold Venture Press. It is Zorro's Exploits and Zorro's Swordplay and Romance. I illustrated a couple of things in there. You can always pick up and check out. And of course, never forget about A Kid in a Comic, an awesome newspaper that is just complete comics and done by a lot of talented people. Some have been on the show, some I'm hoping to bring on the show. Um, they're going to be, it's great. It's all comics. You can go to kidinacomic.com, follow them on, all social media, Kid in a Comic. Definitely, definitely a great thing to subscribe to. Actually, I would pull one out, but it's a little far away right now for me to get to. Um, so yeah, so here's the plan for tonight. Now I had a guest planned and they had to reschedule. It happens. I've done it before in the past. Now, when that happened, I try to find another guest as soon as possible. I ask people if they want to move up, whatever it is. Um, and I couldn't really get anyone. I thought, hey, you know what? Let me do a drawing video. I love to draw, as you guys know, and maybe I'll talk about some artists that I love. And then I had another idea that came from a Facebook post I made. I want to say it was either Sunday or Monday, and I wasn't looking for anything for Get in Tune. What happened was I really just wanted to find out what people are backing on crowdfunding sites. I'm always looking to help indie projects or just projects in general that I think you know I can help out. I'm interested in getting the book or a digital copy or whatever. Usually, I just do a digital tier because they are the least amount of money, and I can back more uh, products that way. So anyway, I thought about all these great things people were telling me about. And I even asked them, I said, hey, if you have a Kickstarter, drop it in the comments and I'll take a look at it. And, you know, I found some really cool stuff that I wasn't aware of. Some of the stuff I'm going to show you, some of them were guests on the show. And I'm going to talk about their stuff because I really like it. I think it's fantastic pieces, and I'd love more people to be aware of them. So the more I can talk about that, the better. And that's the big thing for me here. Now, I'm sorry, I am looking on two screens when I do this. Um, and as I go through, I'm going to drop the links to these things in the comments so that you guys can find what to back. Now, if you can back everything, awesome. If you can only back one, that's great too. Now, the first thing I'm going to start with is not a comic. All right. Um, hold on, let me just pop up the screen and you can see it. Share screen. This is all new to me here that because I'm using a new service. So let me check that out. Um, and as you can see, this is about Peter David. Now, for those who are unaware of Peter David, he's a writer. He's been writing for comics for a very long time. He's actually one of my all-time favorite comic writers. I think his run in the 90s of the Hulk is one of the best things that, as a comic reader, I got to enjoy. I have had the pleasure of meeting him a handful of times at shows. He'll never remember who I am, but he helped kind of like inspire my love of comic storytelling as a writer. And I have more artists that I look at than writers, but anything with Peter David, I'll read. Now, from my understanding, he's been sick for a while. Um, and this is on GoFundMe. So let me just put the link in there. Um, Now, he's had some health issues. I don't want to comment on them in the sense that they're in here. He says Peter is steadily improving, even with his kidney disease, minor surgeries, and some recent small strokes. All right, and then there's just stuff about disability and Medicaid and things. But number one, if you watch my show regularly, I've talked about that I'm a 2-time kidney transplant recipient. I've spent time on dialysis. I know what it's like to have your body fail you. And all the medical issues I constantly bitch about in real life are side effects actually from my second transplant. And knowing what he's feeling. I mean, I don't know everything that he's dealing with, but just knowing that side of it, I know whatever someone could do can be helpful here. And I've told this story on the air before, and I'll tell it again now, just so you can. It's actually funny. When I was online at New York Comic Con waiting to get my pro badge, I wasn't tabling that year. I was just getting my pro badge, and this is before they mailed them to you. So you had to come in and sign up, and they handed you the badge. And I remember hearing someone saying, Peter David, Peter David. And there's this woman said, Peter David, Peter David. And I'm looking around because, I'm a huge fan. Well, they come up and they tap me on the shoulder, and I turn around and she says, "You're not Peter David." I said, "No, I am not." And she goes, "Oh, I thought you were." And, and I'm like, "No, but you know what? I mean, he's obviously a bit older than me, but back then both of us were a little heavier. My head is normally shaved, or when I do grow it in, my hair can be a bit white. And I was wearing a leather jacket, and Peter wears a leather jacket, so I always kind of like that I was at least visually from the back compared to him. Uh, it might be the only comparisons I get. I'll probably never write as well as he does, but he truly is one of my comic writing. I don't like the term idols, but someone I tend to go back and look at for inspiration. Sillyville, thank you so much, David. Dylan, Peter David. And by the way, I saw your comment. I didn't get a chance to say about you're making a new series. Avatar Hero sounds like a great name. Good luck with it. But Peter David is a comic writer who, in the last few years, has developed some health issues and, could use some help, financially because of them. So, again, if you can donate, if you can't, I completely understand. But if you can share the link I shared with you out to help him out, that would be very much appreciated, not just by me, but I'm sure by his family and loved ones. And just so you know, like I said, I don't know him personally. I'm doing this because of how much I'm a fan of his, and I can understand some of what he's probably going through physically, and I don't wish that upon anybody. So, but yeah, you can look up Peter David, Dylan, on on the internet and find some of his work. I got some other books that he wrote, like prose books, they're on my other shelf. But he did actually Bold Venture Press, who I drew the Zorro for. He actually wrote a Zorro book, which I have a copy and need to finish reading. It's one of those things I started and put down, but it was really good what I was reading so far. He also has another one. I think it's called Dodger or Artful. It's the Artful. It's based on the Artful Dodger, and he kind of wrote it in a Dickens way. It's a nice, good book too. So you can look those up and check them out. Anyway, let's move on to some. We'll go to Kickstarter first. I got a couple of things to show. Um, and at some point I may have to switch off and share some comic pages people sent me so I can enhance the piece. But let's start over here on Kickstarter. Yes, Dylan, he's a writer. Now this one here, 2 days left. Chronicles of, I guess is that pronounced Chimera? I haven't checked this out yet. Just this drawing keeps coming at me, and I'm like, wow, this is really cool. Even this looks nice. I haven't even had a chance to check that out. Let's take a look. Whoops, that was an image. Can we open the link in a new tab? All right, so let's take a look at a few things. So the first one, all right, now this one, Toy Box Guardians, created by Ben Dunn. For those who don't know Ben, and let me put the link in here, he is one of the co-owners of Antarctic Press. Antarctic Press got started in the 80s. They got popular with Ninja High School and what was the other one? Well, the Warrior knows it. Ariella, I think it's pronounced Ariella, Warrior Nun. And he's had a bunch of other books since then. And this is 11 days to go. Basically, the story is, I don't want to get it wrong. I know it's kind of like, yeah, okay. So they transport this wizard, an ancient wizard, to stop an evil that's happening. Transports 6 warriors into our dimension, but their souls get stuck in toys. So if you scroll down, you can see who some of these guys are. Now, Antarctic Press is really big on the manga style. That's basically what is trying to bring manga to America. And what's really cool about this is a friend of mine has written this story. His name is Todd. I always say Ted or when I'm talking. It's Todd Matthey. Todd Matthey has written for a couple of companies. He's someone you want to follow. He's a very talented writer. He did a book. I want to say Dynamite put them out, but I could be wrong. And it was called Robots vs. Princesses. And it was basically, what if the Disney princesses went to war with the Transformers? I mean, that's kind of the best way to put it, And it was a really, really fun book. I think you can get the trade still. And if you can get the trade, get it. Great for kids, school age. That was one of the things he wanted to make sure, because he works as a teacher, and he wanted to make sure that he had something his students can read, but still had the flavor of things that he enjoyed growing up, which are Disney movies and Transformers. He's probably the biggest Transformer fan I know. So this is 40 pages of toy-rific adventure. And here's some of the artwork. This is really nice. Here. And actually, Antarctic Press is one of the few companies I actually would love to do something for. I don't want to work with many companies anymore these days. But I've just been a fan for so long that this is this is just, it would be an honor even if I got to do a pinup somewhere. Um, Now, or they have the manga version, which is basically black and white. Now, if we look at here, we can maybe see some differences. I want to see that. So no, there's not. It's really more some. It's got their action lines. It's got all this shading and stuff here. In the manga version, um, I just think it's toned a little differently, and or maybe without the color, it's a little hard for me to see on the screen here. And if I do decide to back it, because this is already backed, right? I believe they're already funded. Yeah, they way past their goal. Um, but yeah, I'd love to. If I back it, I'm gonna back the manga version because, as I mentioned many times, I'm colorblind. I don't really care about color. I'm happy to read it in black and white. So this one is really really a nice one to check out. And unfortunately, due to audio issues, I can't play straight from here. I have to figure out why I can't. It is a Mac issue. If I was on a PC, this would not happen. This is the Chronicles of Chimera, a high action sci-fi fantasy set in a post-apocalyptic future where gene he says it's supposed to be gene engineered. It doesn't read right to me, but okay. Engineered animals have inherited the earth. So just the art looks killer. So this is from Wild North Comics. Let's see what they say about that. It's an Australian publisher dedicated to wild tales from the imagination. Our collective is made of artists, writers, filmmakers, and animators across Australia and Asia Pacific. We publish diverse sections of unique creator-owned titles, host art exhibitions for film screenings, and organize the annual Wild North Comic Con. They're pretty cool people. I'm going to probably have to check them out, see if they're on like Instagram or something. Did it open in a new? No. So why can't I go back? Oh, it just goes up. Sorry. So does it say who the artist is on this one? Let's see. Doesn't say anything else about it on here. Let's see if I go to back this project. Will it give me any? Because the art looks phenomenal to me. This is the type of stuff that I happen to lean towards. So what I like is, even though it's done Australian money, it'll convert it to US for you, so you know what you're doing. So I'm going to go through it to see what is offered. I'm already good like 20 minutes in, and I want to make sure I get through a lot more. So did I put this in there? No, that's the toy thing. So let's put in right here, copy. All right, let's move on. Who is next? This is this is the other one I posted. So on day 7, God rested, then the world went to hell. The story of two angels sent to find a man named Noah and the fury that follows them. All right, it's got me hooked. Let me take a sip of water here, and then I'll read. And let me give you this link as well. Okay. There is a lost page ripped from the history books of man. I don't know if you guys are hearing me well enough. I'll bring my mic in a little better. So, a page between the fall and the flood, when evil was upon the earth. Too much is lost to know for certain. But perhaps this is one tale that may be true. When creatures of darkness bent magic and machine to their will in the first great war against mankind. Here begins the tale of Adoravan. I think that's how you say it. The last two angels on earth. Freedom is no more. The promise born with men lies sploit and rotting. I never seen the word sploit before. Interesting spelling. Those who aren't stomped out are bred out. But the Averdan have not returned in vain. Even knee deep in mud and blood, they carry the most powerful weapon of all, hope. And so they're telling, where's my mouse here? There it is. So it's 40 pages for the first oversized issue. And okay. Let's see the story here. The day of innocence was lost, the soul of man cracked, and darkness got its taste. All the possibility and all the promise that was born when men was now in jeopardy. The second age has begun, and the long night with it. Our story begins on the day the Adarvan return, and the last hope of mankind with them. Two tattered soldiers riding out of the wastes, a forgotten script tattooed on their skin, nothing but a sword slug across their backs. Most of the new wardens had forgotten the name of Adoravan altogether. But the two warriors emerging from the wasteland, armed without masters, and are enough to make even the most reckless of warlords uneasy. It isn't long until the warriors' origins are betrayed by their angelic symbols tattooed on their skin. With their identities discovered, they are now on top of the bad guys' kill list. Well, I'm sold. I don't know about you guys. But this sounds like a fun story for me. You know, art is looking good. Wow, this is a nice team here. I don't know if this is one person. I gotta really look, but you know, I'm really digging the art. I love this fantasy, stuff. I love things that are, based in religion. So that could be a really fun book. Now the Ballad of Nod is from James Burton. Now he was my guest last week. I'm not going to spend as much time on this one because I spent the whole show talking about this last week, and you can check it out. But it will go in the comments with everything else I've been showing. And this is such a great story. Really about a young girl dealing with her feelings and depression, and she gets pulled into this kind of like nightmare dream world, and it's really up to her teddy bear Patches to help her through. So this is that. A lot of great stuff. I'm a fan of James's art. I like his writing as well. He's got some really good stuff, and I highly recommend checking it out. This is some of the inside of the book here. It's a very, I don't know if this book is kid friendly. I forgot to ask him, but I believe he wrote something that kids could enjoy. You got to remember, kids like to be scared. I know, it's not always the thing to do, but when you look at like an artist like Ed Gorey, even Dr. Seuss had some scary stuff for kids in his style. Definitely something to check out. Who's up next? Is this the one? Up next. Now, this is by Eli Hernandez. She was my guest a couple of weeks ago. Um, if you haven't seen that show, please definitely go back and look at that. We had a fantastic conversation. Um, just I've known her for a while, but I never got into like that deep discussion with her, and it was really a cool thing about recognizing her artwork. But anyway, the story of Inkling, it's really just her. I don't want to say really just because it's kind of more than that. It's really good. It's what do they call it? Inktober. It's all her Inktober. So 31 drawings based on the 2024 Inktober challenge. Um, all artwork is done with traditional ink on paper, some touch ups with gouache paint. All right. And she made that little animation. Um, I like that. So you can see some of her work here as we go down. Did I put this one in here? No, I did not. But I really love this stuff here. Um, much, I'm sorry, what do you say here? That much better than looking at me and, oh, stop it. So yeah, it comes with she's gonna have prints available based on your tier, I believe, but she did reach the level that I believe the prints are now open, which I'm looking forward to getting mine because uh, I know which print I want, and I have a place for it already set up in my studio. Uh, all right. Definitely check this one out. How many days does she have left? 12 days to go. Um, she's made her goal, but help her out more. I think this is something a lot of people will really enjoy, especially if you're an artist watching this. If you're just like a comic fan, yeah, I think it's fun to look at. Absolutely, like a fan of art. But if you're an artist, just to see the work that she's doing, it's like an art of book, and at least the way I'm seeing it, and it's just a fantastic piece for anybody who loves traditional art. And there are some, I believe, some digitally colored pieces, if I remember correctly. I'd have to go back and watch that video again, but definitely check her out. Her stuff is really good. And you can follow her on Instagram and Twitch, I believe, right? She keeps, is that what she has down here? Yeah, she has her Instagram, her X, and her Twitch, which is all Glash Monster. Um, and yeah, she does live streaming. I don't remember if it's Wednesday nights or Tuesday nights. I'd have to look at the day, but she live streams art. Um, I think weekly. Definitely check that out. It's fun to watch her work. Next up comes from actually another past guest and friend of mine, Daphne. And let me tell you, Daphne and JD, her husband, which is the next one I'm going to look at. I will always not only be a super fan of theirs, but they're I blame them for the reason I do independent comics. And I've told the story to them a couple of times on the air in different shows. When I was 16 years old, I grew up in a town called Mahopac, New York. And not too far, about 15-minute drive away, was our local mall, the Jefferson Valley Mall, affectionately referred to as the JV Mall. And I always wanted to draw comics. I was like, okay, I'm going to do superheroes. I'm going to work for Marvel. I'm going to work for DC. I have characters I want to draw for, um, and I'm just putting the link in the comments now. But when I was 16 years old, there was a comic book convention, and it might actually be the first con I ever went to. I don't remember, but it was a mall show. And at this table, who were a bunch of young people, not much older than me. I don't even know if they graduated high school yet. I was 92, I think it was. I was 16. So yeah, 92. So they could have been seniors, maybe just graduated. They're not much older than me. And they had a whole, I don't call it a whole line of books, but they had a bunch of books there. Um, one was Dreamweavers, because the name of their company is Dreamweaver Press. And I saw that. I'm like, holy crap, people like my age are making comics, and it doesn't have to be superheroes. So that was a number one thing to me, because I do love other things, but all you ever saw were like superhero comics, you know? And I said, so they're not doing superheroes. They're doing their own stories. They've created their own characters, and they look like fun stories. So I bought, I think, everything they had there that day. I don't remember how much I spent, but I think I came home with like 4 books, maybe a couple more. I don't remember. Um, and do I have it right near me here? Just let me see. Uh, Probably. Oh wait, is this it? Let me just see real quick. Ow. Um, no, they're probably packed away in another section of my studio. I had a collection of their books I bought from them at a con. Now, Daphne does Eagle Raven. Eagle Raven, heir to the first unicorn. As you can see, it's a mature fantasy genre. I read the first 1 or 2 issues backing through Kickstarter, but I don't always have disposable income to help everybody out. So I'm going to wait till I see them at a convention, because we tend to be, they're kind of local for me. And they tend to do a lot of the shows that I'll be at. Excuse me. So this is her new one. Doesn't she have another one that's currently running? I thought she did. So this is, I put this one in. That's let me see. I just want to look it up. I thought there was one. Do I have? No, it's Dreamweaver. Let me look up Eagle Raven. I thought she had a book open now. Launching soon. Ended. Ended. Okay. I guess I was wrong. I thought it was already there. Um, so I don't want to go too much into this, but there is. It's a magical fantasy. Um, there is as you can see, Eagle Raven right here. She's a unicorn, like a humanoid unicorn. I don't want to give anything away. I'd love for you to check it out. I'm sure there'll be tiers to get back issues, or even in digital copy. Like I said, I read the first couple of issues, and I had a lot of fun and enjoyed this. Sorry. I don't know what else to say about it, but I just love Daphne's work. When I look at it, it's, I don't know how to describe it. It's just, I don't know. There's a lot of. Let's see if we can go to one of her older stuff, or if she shows things right now. So I don't know. There's kind of like this manga-esque feel to it, but almost more like there's a video game. Like, I can totally see this as a game, and I get the feeling of like, the classic RPGs I used to play on the desktop, and I'm going back to Sierra games just now with her work, would be much better graphics. But yeah, Eagle Raven is a great piece, and this is also what is really nice. And I will put the link you can read the first 16 pages for free. Oh, hold on. I'll do that. I think I need to open it first. Unless it downloads, I don't know how it's going to work out. Oh, opens in a whole other piece here. So you can read the first 16 pages, which I don't believe is the full story. I'd have to read it myself to know. And I don't know if this link will work when I share it, but totally go and check out her stuff. And you can see a lot more. Her work is really cool. Now, coming on here, Dreamweavers. This is from wait, is this the right one? Just want to make sure. Yeah, so JD Calderon. This is I'm really enjoying this style. I love this monster right here. And JD is the writer. He always gets an artist, so I don't know which artist he has right now. Look at these trading cards. This was the original cover, actually, back in like '92. This one right here in the center, B, is what I still have packed away in boxes somewhere. But yeah, I remember buying this and just really being impressed. This was illustrated by Matt Lunsford and colored by Bruno. Is that Koatic? Koatic? I don't know. I'm terrible. But yeah, wow, this work is looking really good here. Nice. I'm trying to see if he has sample pages I can show you. Oh, I believe this was also one of the covers. I believe I have this. This looks familiar, but maybe it's this one I have. I don't know. So you can see some interior pages here. Just to show. Yeah, this looks really good to me. Ah, crap. Looks like I may have to put another backing on here. Just curious. PDF. I don't know. I might want to get a copy of the actual cover again, but everything depends on how much I could afford. 17 days to go. Did I put the link in for this? No, I did not. Let's check this one out here. Awesome. Next up, this one came up as an ad for me on Instagram earlier today. And it's from Locket Illustrated, Greek Gods and Heroes. So Greek heroes narrate the tales with academic insights, over 130 full pages, images by award-winning illustrator Tile Miles Locket. And honestly, I went on he has a YouTube page, I believe, or maybe I'm thinking of someone else, but I was really impressed by his work. I think this is beautiful. So, Locket Illustrated Greek Gods and Heroes is a contemporary art book for teens and adults written and illustrated by award-winning artist Tile Miles Locket with over 130 already completed full-page illustrations. This is over 3 years of full-time work. This art book is unlike anything you've ever seen. Combining the vivid enchantment of a storybook with the historical authenticity of text sources from ancient Greek poets like Homer, and I'm not going to get all their names right. Each art piece is paired with a single text page, concise, engaging, and uh, accessible to all, from casual readers to dedicated mythology enthusiasts. Now, I can't speak any more than wow, I'm already into this. Um, I was first of all, I'm a mythology fan. I used to read a lot. I try to every now and then read some myths. Always love them. I also taught visual storytelling class for years, and would always do something with mythology as part of it, having people explore other myths than just Greek, because there are so many great mythologies out there, Um, so, ebook, I'm just looking right now. Wow. So this is going to be a 300-page book, but he's only got 100, like about 130 pages done right now. At least from when he said it, says more or less to high res wallpaper. Oh, okay, that's easy. Estimated end of the year delivery for the digital book. Usually I get upset when I see digital books, more than like five, possibly even $10, depending on page count. But this is a 300 page book that looks amazing and is probably going to be, if you want to call it historically accurate, if you could say that about myths. I think this is going to be fun. Did I put that in there? No, I did not. Let's check this one out for you guys here. Now this one, The Hunter, #1, a superhero horror odyssey. This was put in. I wish I can shout out the name. I'd have to go on my Facebook page to really look it up. But someone shared this on that as a comment, and this is what they're like. This is what I'm backing right now. You got to check this out. So, whoops, sorry. I was trying to scroll on my iPad, and I'm using it as a second monitor, so it doesn't have the scrolling piece. So let's see. The Hunter is the latest project from Trouble Studios, the folks who brought you. So that's Sharon or Charon 13, written and illustrated by Dakota Alexander, a visionary artist whose work has appeared in titles including Grendel and The Masters. And by the way, if you can look up The Masters, check it out. I've had the publisher on. Great guy, very, and he writes everything. The majority, I believe, or at least plots it. He's a very talented guy, and put together a great company at Powers Comics. But The Masters is a good book. The superhero horror comic offers a one-way ticket to the world of myth and monsters, inspired by 80s Marvel comics such as Moon Knight, as well as the classic horror cinema. The Hunter delivers a compelling mix of superheroics, mythology, and, of course, wall-to-wall action. The Hunter will be printed on newsprint and will feature all the hallmarks of the comics that could have been released in 1981, including period-specific ads. Now, first of all, they just hooked me. All right. I'm more of a Silver Age fan, but I grew up reading comics in the late 80s and really, 90s and early 2000s when I was a regular collector. But I'd go back and get older books, and I really love the stuff that came out of the 80s. So let's see. I don't want to read the whole thing, but the story follows Stephen Conrad, a writer and cultural anthropologist. Stephen has a little secret. Some might say it's a dark secret. He is occasionally possessed by the god, is that Hern? Transforming into a fearsome monster hunting vigilante known as the Hunter. As Steve balances his personal life with his supernatural calling, he battles the nightmarish creatures while grappling with the cost of a double life. And I think it's pronounced Hern. If I remember correctly, that's Greek mythology. It's like a deer. And it would make sense that he's got antlers on here. And really taking that Marvel Comics approach. Oh, I used to remember ads like that. know, it actually does kind of feel a little Werewolf by Night there. I wish I could make these bigger. This is gorgeous. And well, I have to say, I think they're getting my money. This is just too much of me, of what I love. I do hope I can back. I have the money to back it with 10 days to go. Let's put the Hunter in here. I also like a different take on the superhero genre. Now, I've mentioned many times I'm a big Superman fan. Dr. Fate is one of my all-time favorites. Nightwing on DC side, and then in Marvel, Quasar is probably my favorite Marvel character. I know I like the weird ones, right? But X-Men wise, it's always been Nightcrawler, Colossus, Iceman. And as I grew up, Cyclops. I freaking love Cyclops. I think he's great. So let's move on. I said I was going to stick this to an hour, but I might go longer because I got a lot of pages up here and I want to talk about a few things. That's a Discover one. So this one here, this is a Notify Me. Sam Vera is a very talented artist and writer who created a comic. I don't know if it started as a children's book, but it was a comic, and it's called There's an Alien in My Toilet. And the alien in my toilet was about an alien who ended up in a toilet, and the alien's name is Duty. It's great for kids. If I remember correct, I believe it is. But this is something definitely to check out. I love his cartoony style. And he does a lot of parody stuff where he puts his character in different situations. Like obviously this is a Fantastic Four #1 recreation. This is, instead of Gravity Falls, Duty Falls. So I put that one in, right? Yeah. And then the last one is another one from JD Calderon, who hasn't started out yet. I mean, who's this is a Notify. This is for the Oswald Chronicles. The Oswald Chronicles, just art-wise, beautiful, fantastic. Let me just show some of this work. I mean, look at that. I mean, this is more than likely a picture from New York City and run through filters. I don't think anyone's drawing like that and then doing that, but that is beautiful the way they combined it both. It's, when I look at the art, I get a very Don Bluth, Fievel, or what was the other one he did, The Secret of Nim, that he animated. Sometimes I get that feeling that this really feels like an animated cartoon when I'm reading it. It's so I just put that in there, right? Yeah. So check this out. Read about it. I'm just going a little faster for time. Now, there's another crowdfunding site I wasn't familiar with. It's called Zoop. I saw Dan Thompson, actually, who is Squid Williams here, post a lot about this. Now, oh God, I just blanked on his comic. Whoa, this is going to bother me. Give me 1 second. Wow. I am sorry for having a brain fart. But this is one of his books that I own. It's called, where's the camera? It's Rip Haywire. Now, for those who aren't familiar, it's a syndicated strip, daily comic. Um, and it's about Rip, who is he's a soldier of fortune, if I remember correctly. And I got to be honest, I have to catch up. I'm a good month or plus behind. Um, because what I tend to do is not read certain strips for a while because I like reading them so much. Then I read them, in batches. Um, it's got humor, it's got adventure, it's really fun. It's kind of this Hanna Barbera esque cartoony feel with God, I wouldn't even know what humor to say. It's almost like Dick Tracy meets Hanna Barbera, if that makes sense. Um, you know, kind of good punchlines at the end. Sometimes maybe a little corny, but good. Now I already backed Squid Williams. I am such a fan. I did a. This is the tier I chose. The Squid Williams physical tier, physical edition cover art print, and it's because I wanted the art print. And that's the only reason I did this. And they'll have you pick from a couple of different ones. So that is the one here. I am going to let you read more about this. Now, this is one of the really cool things here. I'm going to stop this screen share. I can replace screen sharing. Nice. So I got to bring this up here. So let me just move this over to another screen, and that's not the page I want. So this, I reached out to Dan when I knew my guest wasn't able to come on, and I'm like, I'd love to talk about Squid Williams with you and other work, because I actually have an interview I did with him. I couldn't even tell you how many years ago. You can find it on my YouTube page, and we had a great time talking. And we've kind of I've both of us, we've stayed in contact a bit, mostly obviously through social media. I haven't, he lives too far away for me to like just say hi and go over. But I'm such a fan of his artwork. I will literally, he's one of those people like I would back just because he's the artist. Like just like a Sergio Aragones did a crowdfunding, I would be backing it. I don't care, But I love this look. He's I don't remember if he's a sea cap. He's a sailor, definitely. And Squid Williams is a sailor, brawler, and a man who never bets against himself. Stuck in the Dragon's Triangle with pirates, monsters, and a woman full of secrets, he'll have to fight his way out or go down swinging. Now, one of the things I like about Dan's work, and this really just kind of says it all. This is what the older comics kind of had. This is Terry and the Pirates and all those things that got made into movie serials, where you have like the hooded dragon guy and because everybody was the hooded whatever, or just the dragon, and they wore, a hood over their heads, and they were the bad guys. And, there's always something, going on, but you have your tough hero. And one of the things I like about his stuff is not only does it have a nice cartoony feel, but sometimes, specifically when I look at certain poses of him, of his, I could see artists that are inspiring it. For example, I could see Kirby in his work, or, I'm blanking on his name. There was another artist I saw a lot of at one point. But so this, I believe, is on the site. Let me just see. Yeah, if you scroll down on that page, you know, you'll see these pages that he is. I'm sorry, I was just looking to double check. You'll see these pages here, you know? And I'm sorry, I'm just opening it up more so I can just click on some pages. Yeah, definitely go on and read this. You'll get an idea of how he writes. You'll get an idea of humor. You'll get an idea of his drawings. I love his colors. You know, as I mentioned, you know, many a times, I'm colorblind, but I like how he colors very simplistically. It's not a lot of heavy shadows, or, you know, it's very, his colors are simple. And I don't know if he's the colorist or he hires someone out to do it, but it reminds me of like I said, Hanna-Barbera, you know. Look how beautiful this stuff is here. Love this. It's just a nice punch here. Both of them here. This is a great, like, honestly, I would say this is a Kirby page. All right. Kirby had a great way of showing how, you know, fighting would happen from panel to panel. So like how this, you know, how a battle would go. And this is great showing Squid winning, you know. And even when you look over here at his drawings of guns, I mean, I'm not a gun aficionado, but I mean, even if this is not accurate, it looks really good, and it looks very believable as a gun, you know? Look at that. I just love how he, whoa. I just love how he does everything here. I'm sorry, my mouse. I just wanted to scroll up, but it's enlarging it. And then there's a page 6 here, I believe. Yeah, and then that's the last page where at the end says, and my luck had run out, and it looks like he might be drowning or something. Or, you know, this is definitely, I read this. I don't want to give anything away again. Let you read it, let you get into what he's doing here. All right, let me go back. Replace window. And let's go back here. So let me move this out of the way. I'll come back to Clip Studio again in a moment. But yeah, like I said, if you go down and scroll down, you can see these are other books that he did, Tig and Lily. But this is the preview. You can check it out over here. I just wanted to show you larger since I had access to it. I don't know what this is here. This is one that came up when I was looking around Zoop. Zoop doesn't have too many to my knowledge at the moment. There's a lot that are going to be coming up. But there's 8 days left on this one here. I put the Squid Williams in there. This is called Skull Kickers. It's a fantasy. Come on, paste. It's a fantasy story. So Skull Kickers is an action comedy sword and sorcery comic series that ran for 34 issues from 2010 to 2015, building a loyal audience for his uproarious take on the genre and comics as a whole. Skull Kickers is Deadpool by the way of Dungeons and Dragons, irreverent, ridiculous, and frantically fourth wall planking. Over the past 9 years, the 6 trade paperbacks and 3 hardcover collections of Skull Kickers have become hard to track down for a while. At the same time, writer Jim Zub's fantasy bona fides have grown with work in seminal fantasy titles that include Dungeons and Dragons, Conan the Barbarian, Pathfinder, Samurai Jack, and Red Sonja. Thousands of fantasy fans have enjoyed Jim's writing on commercial titles, but haven't dug into the original sword and sorcery that has put him on the map. With your support, we can put Skull Skull Kickers back in print in a big way with a complete comic collection. So, number one, they had me at fantasy. Number two, they had me at D&D. They kind of lost me with what the hell's his name? Deadpool. I am not a Deadpool fan. I think. I mean, listen, you love him, you love him. He's not a character for me. But being a fan of D&D, being someone who's played D&D, who loves the fantasy genre, I can kind of geek out to a Deadpool-like character in that world. So there is some wow, some cash going to be spent, but not the everything bundle. I'll tell you that. I'm not there. Now this one was another one that was interesting to me. It's basically vigilante or V gigantic or gigant. I'm sorry, I'm bad with that. I read it as vigilante originally, and I knew I had to fix it. But I'll let you check. Did I put the other one in there? Skull Kickers. I did. Here's VG copy. Let's paste in there. Right. Now I might mess up names here because they are. Let's see. James has a comment. He says, "Man, I have a player who I love like a brother. I hate when he plays and he acts like Deadpool in the game." That's funny, yet. Excuse me. And that's actually why I could see a character like that working in the D&D world, because I've played with people who acted like that. Now this I'm going to mess up, and I'm not even going to attempt names because I am terrible at pronouncing things, as you guys have seen today. But V Giganti is the mech created and piloted by a name I'm not going to attempt, but something Cruz, a computer science undergrad at the University of Puerto Rico in Rio. Is that Padres? I'm sorry. She made her first appearance in this book, something number 2, and then as V Giganti in the same book of number 3. Now in her first solo adventure, one-shot comic book, learn how to experiments conducted on her, and other students led to many of them developing into, I'm going to say, potents, people with superhuman abilities. Brismar's powers allow her to read code that make up chemical compounds, physics equations, and binary codes. With this, she created her very own sentient mech that she pilots, V Giganti. Okay, so now when I saw the cover up here, I'm like, okay, that's cool. It brought me in. First of all, I'm a big mech guy. I'm working on a mech story right now myself. And then I came down and I looked at the artwork. And I just really enjoyed it. I haven't even had a chance to read the story yet in the preview, but it's definitely something. This character, I know, has her own book. I believe they mention it at the top here. I don't know why this one says, maybe someone can help me here. I'm not familiar with this book. I'm sorry. Guest starring Rosario Dawson. I don't know why that would happen. It's a forward, maybe. I don't know. But this guy, the guy creating it, is an award-winning comic artist. let's see. This one, oh my God. We Bring Only Death. Let me tell you about this one here. I got to get notified still. Um, can I go? I did look him up. Let me make a We Bring Richard. I did a search on him earlier. And let me tell you, I am such a fan of this guy's work. Now, this is what is a larger picture than what we were seeing, right? I guess that's his Facebook profile picture. But I mean, you just look at this guy's artwork and, you know, he's fantastic. And, you know, definitely go check out this guy's work. Yeah, I know. Great title. Like that hooked me when I saw it. So what I'm going to do is I don't think I put it in. Let me put the We Bring Only Death. I'm like, you know, it's a dark, violent, original graphic novel of standalone Viking horror stories. Like the return of Witchy Wednesdays, we'll have Thor's Days, and art and production social media posts counting down to launch in spring. All right. So Viking horror stories. A friend of mine, KJ Murphy, who's been on the show, I don't remember his book title right now, but he had some Viking horror stuff, which was a really good book. So check out KJ Murphy's stuff. You can look him up and see what he's done. But Richard Pace, We Bring Only Death, is something I'm interested in checking out. That's the Skull Kickers. And then this one here, the Wrath Vermilion. A fallen soldier betrayed by the ones he trusted. A deal with a god beyond human comprehension and the red rage that consumes him as he returns to burn it all to the ground. Witness the story of the Wrath of Vermilion, a standalone black and white and blood sci-fi cosmic horror 64-page graphic novel about one man's quest for truth and divinity and the price which he will willing to pay. The Wrath Vermilion is like Moon Knight meets the King in Yellow and Warhammer 40,000. I thought it was 4,000, but I don't play, so I don't know. This just looks fantastic. 64 pages. Damn. You know, this is when I wish I was like, I had no issue with money and I could just start backing everything. Because I literally would. I'd back everything. There's so many good things out there. That's my opinion. So now this one coming up, the Militon Gazette. I'm copying and pasting. This is a Substack page. A friend of mine, Mike Belcher, who has been on the show, who does the book A Man in the Mask, and when I'm sitting at my computer, you can see behind me framed a picture of his character that he did. This is to sign up for his newsletter, and you can get comics he posts on here. It's really, really cool. And this is his website, and we're going to look at some of the work he sent me to show you. Now, basically, for those unaware, this is, and I put the website in here, where you can go to the shop and buy his books. And this is the newest book, issue 3. He's offering a digital copy for $3 right now. So let's head over, and where did I do it? Here. Replace. Okay. Now we're back to here. Okay. Come on. Should have brought my mouse over. I'm just using the touchpad right now. So that is not what I wanted to show yet. Not that either. Where did I put the? Oh, I did it backwards. Okay. So basically, the Man in the Mask, even though it's, its own character, its own title, it is kind of a legacy comic. Um, it's a story about how the mask is kind of passed down, and there's always someone in the mask, and it's like a family business. So in this story, um, from what I understand, and actually, you know what? I can give you exactly what he wrote me. Let me just open up my Facebook on another tab here that you guys don't see. All right, Facebook. Where Mike Belcher? Here it is. Okay, this is he. By the way, he's halfway through the miniseries at this point because it's going to be, I guess, a 6-issue series, and he's got this is issue 3. Oh, issue 3 of 6. Okay. When he was 9 years old, Tommy Franklin accepted his grandfather's offer to take over his crime-fighting masked identity. 5 years have passed, and Tommy makes a decision that lands him in the hot water and puts his future in doubt. And then it includes 2 mini stories as well. So here's the thing. I'm a huge fan of Mike's work. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a huge Silver Age comic fan. Mike is a big fan of the Silver Age, and he draws a lot of great, Silver Age, mostly DC. He does everything, but he's influenced. We mentioned the Grendel comic earlier. He loves the Grendel. He loves, he's really influenced a lot by the Silver Age, and he's got this nice, clean look that that's reminiscent of Silver Age comics. And I find his work very fun, but I love this design. This character is called the Reaper, I believe, and I just love the design of him. Some of it also, when I look at it, kind of has that. Who is it? Another Hanna-Barbera look, like this Reaper monster. To me, looks like something you'd see in a Scooby-Doo cartoon. It's really just the eyes and the mask. It just gives me that old 60s bad guy feel. Excuse me again. I don't know what's going on. So this is probably the first page of the book. Oh, it is page 1. And again, very easy, simple work, but it looks really good. This is to me how I like my comics. Don't get me wrong, detail stuff. We were looking at the horror stuff before. Right now I've been reading a lot of manga, which is very, obviously is black and white, but very heavy on hatching and shadows and creating a lot of different textures while you look at the work. So I look at everything, but I just like this fun, clean, old school feel, And then here's another piece of it. And it's kind of obviously influenced by who was that? Was that Matt Wagner who did I know he's a big Matt Wagner fan. So I'm just seeing if they mention the name. I don't know who, because it also reminds me of a comic writer. I can't place his name right now, but it might be his take on himself in there. I have no clue about anything. Just looks good, Nice, very nice stuff. Anyway, let's switch over again. But check out Mike's work. You won't regret it. Here's where. And that is probably below. Come on. Just minimize this. I can't find. Now, when I was looking around again, another site that I've never really explored is called Fund My Comic. And there's a lot of cool stuff on Fund My Comic. I haven't gone past page 1 yet, so I can't tell you how many good things there are. Um, but from my understanding, the way it works is I think, I don't know if things can be canceled. I don't know, but basically, once you fund it, the money goes directly to the artist, if I remember correctly. But don't quote me on that. Um, but yeah, there's so many. Just looking at this page, you'll see I opened up a couple of pages that just looked really fun for me. Um, and they'll tell you when they're funded at. So right now, like this Cold Cutter issue 3 or number 3 with issue 1 and 2 catch up. Okay. I just pulled what looks good. Now, Kill Stan 1 and 2, which I have up to look at. I'm trying to remember how to say his name properly. I don't remember his last name, but I think it's Deese. He was on my show a few weeks ago as well with Kill Stan, I believe, number 3. Or is it number 2? I don't remember. Anyway, it's a really, really good book. Now let's take a look at what caught my eye here. God, there's so many. I don't think I even went down this far. Heroic Tales comic book. Trick and Treats Volume 2. Hedex Furium. There's a lot of good stuff here. Now, I don't know, like this one says funded at this price and it went really high. Oh, see, but it also tell you no end date. So this is probably something that finished and um, they opened it up as a storefront that you could look through. So, and then they'll tell you what you can get through them still. So you can buy the physical. So they're still open to a few different things. But this probably wasn't all their detail back then. So physical copy, digital copy, yeah. And 2 swords for hire find themselves on an adventure after accepting what should have been a simple gig. The fantasy person in me loves this. The story: 2 sell swords, Valen and Mongo, find themselves on an adventure after accepting what was supposed to have been a simple gig. When nothing goes as planned, they find themselves in a fight for their lives. And then we can see the first 5 pages here. The art's really nice. I think I opened up book 2 as one of the things that interested me. I'm not sure. Wait a second. This looks very familiar. I didn't remember the name of this. I think I had the creator on my show. Who's the creator? I need a name. Richard Embry. That sounds very familiar. I feel like I had him on my show. Let's see. This was a really nice one. Downcasting. It's number 4. But I thought the work looked so fantastic. And then when I read the story idea, I was like, okay. So, oh, you know what? Hold on. I forgot to give you the link to this one here. Let me give you guys the link to this one. So Jax and Monstro are on the hunt for the new round of gods that have come to Strata. Joanna is preoccupied with her job at Strata Times when she learns about the gods' dangerous connection to the ex-deadliner Carver. So since this is, where is it here? So, Downcast Hunting Ground is an 80-page, perfect bound graphic novel story written by Clint Stoker. Chapters 1 and 3 are drawn by uh, Ignacio Lazaro, sorry, and Chapter 2 drawn by Eric Weathers with lettering by him. Everything is printed and ready to ship. I mean, this looks great. Now, this is probably something that, yeah, it's a storefront piece. So for $20, you get a copy of that and featuring the variant cover. Okay, let's see what's next. This one looked really good. The Atlantean. I love the sword and sorcery stuff. Randy Zimmerman, I follow on social media. He seems to always be putting out some interesting books. Um, so this is number 2. I'm sure if we look through this, maybe this will be a storefront and we can find issue 1 somewhere. Um, but this is okay. Hold on, got it. 50 pages of beautifully illustrated strip, painted cover, perfect bound, classic Bronze Age, black and white ink wash art. The second issue of an ongoing series, free A4 color print with every reward. First of all, they got me. Okay. They were talking above. I don't know. I didn't read it, but I don't know if you saw. They were influenced by Robert E. Howard, creator of Conan and stuff. There. So, in the time before Atlantis' sake and the lands of the world were savage and untamed, one man could claim his destiny. Having followed the trial of a potential serpent artifact found on a tavern girl arm, Cull and Brule find themselves returning to Drakon. Is that Drakhorn? Empty-handed. It's a difficult font to read on white. Sorry. All the time, unbeknownst to them, the Serpent Queen is observing their journeys. These are the tales of those journeys and their great hunt. So, I mean, really, really beautiful work here. It's almost as if it was a Conan story in my eyes. Yeah, so this something great. Did I put this in? Yes. What is next? Type 1. I didn't get a chance to really look at this one, but again, this is a storefront now. So, and it looks like there's only, oh, no, you can do a few things maybe. But for $25, this is nice. You can donate a copy of Type 1 to a child with diabetes. Let me add this over here. So for now, this is a 42-page comic book. Okay. Oh, this is why. Okay, it's very nice. So Thomas DeHart is our hero, Strees. But behind the mask, he is the caretaker of his nephew Aaron, who seems to be the one be the one taking care of him and his life as a type 1 diabetic. Find out the connection in the mysterious type 1 armor as the 9 Lords of the Night and how fast they can save our future. Now, I'm just going to say I think the art is great. I think the idea behind it is great, especially. I mean, I'm a type 2 diabetic, but, I like that there's some meaning behind it. However, I'm sorry, for a 42-page book, I don't, I know it comes with a trading card set. I can't imagine dropping that right now. Maybe in the future. There's another one, Grail. This one actually interested me a lot. I thought it was, when I read the first piece, I haven't even scrolled down to read more, but it says a love letter to vintage heavy metal of the 70s and early 80s, 40 pages of color and black and white sci-fi fantasy goodness for mature readers. So they say it's a magazine. Again, no end date. You can get $15 for a book here. This seems to hold on. Let me just read. Tales of science fiction and fantasy. My love letter to the classic issues of heavy metal from the 70s and early 80s, when Corbin, Mobius, and all the other greats could be seen every month. Yeah, heavy metal is still around, but not for long. But they just don't have the spark like they did the first 3 or 4 years of production. I wanted to make a fun comic that was inspired by those great heavy metal issues. Well, I preferred heavy metal, the earlier heavy metal stuff as well. I do not think they're around, but there was a Kickstarter a while back for like a reprint, I believe, of the original stuff. Or was it a combination of the old stuff with some new? I don't know. I'd have to look it up again, but I remember backing it. And it's supposed to be, I believe, delivered in April. But I mean, this looks good. This looks fun. I actually like this better in color than just the plain inked version. It pops really nice. Yeah, I got to read this, but this looks good to me. So this is 1 through 3. Give me 1 second. Sorry, my phone has been going off like crazy, so I'm just making sure. Okay. Nothing I need to, like, an emergency. Oh, we went back to Dreamweaver. Where were we? Grail. So now this one is Blood. Oh, I did click on that. So again, we looked at that one. The Mythicals, another one that sounded great to me. Nancy Moon returns to catch wind of an immortal serial killer while Julian and the Wolves of Thorns are reunited in the halls of Level M. Dive into a world of magic, mystery, and mayhem as Nancy Moon is recruited by Level M, a clandestine team of monsters tasked with protecting humanity from the forces of darkness. All right. Did I put? Yeah, I did put Braille in there. Let's copy. So here's a few pages just so we can see what it's like. I'm digging the artwork. Yeah. Looks good to me. Something I'd consider. Wow. What's this one here? Kill Stan was the one I mentioned. Excuse me, that I had my guest on a couple of weeks ago. It really is. It's Dees Casales, I believe, is how you say his name. Or is it DC Casales? No, I don't know. It kind of rhymes. I remember that. I'm sorry for messing it up. But Kill Stan, it's kind of going to explore a lot of interesting topics, but it's kind of like about a guy who becomes a vigilante because he wants to commit suicide, and things happen to him, and it's supposed to explore the psychology of the what's been going on. to get him to where he's gotten and to feel the way he feels. This one right here. Oh, did I put let me put that in there. I don't think I put that in there earlier. Next up, Jake Magnus, the Hyperman. All right. Adventures of a Bionic Stuntman. Now, number one, probably one of my all-time favorite TV shows is a $6 Million Man. Number two, I was a Lee Majors fan, so I did watch not a lot of it because of the time slot it was on, but I did watch some of the Fall Guy. And, that's where Lee Majors played a stuntman. So just hearing about this, see, the $6 Million meets the Fall Guy, action, humor, and twists and turns, all set in the 70s. Now, I didn't even read that part. I just clicked on this and opened it up before the show started because it looked interesting to me. And I'm like, this has to be just like a tribute to Lee Majors, and the work that he did. Now, Magnus. All right, where is it? This is your European comic. But it looks like he made the bionic arm the left arm instead of the right. That's what Steve Austin had. Oh, it looks good. It really does feel very 70s-ish, I'm looking at the helicopters, the plane here, everybody freaking smoking. This does feel like the 70s. The car, I mean, he does vehicles very well, this artist. I can't do cars that good. Did I? Yes, I did put that in. What's up next? Now, this one I just clicked on too. I know nothing about it, but it's called The Emerald Array, a Space Marine military sci-fi comic by John Delarose. The Emerald Array are the Terran Imperium's most elite squad of Space Marines. They must purge the demonic Xenos from the galaxy and save humanity. This is why I don't read often. So this is just the storefront now. So the Emerald Array, I just read that part. A strange alien hive is plaguing the Imperial colony world with gigantic demonic bee-like creatures terrorizing citizens. Lieutenant Lansing and his team of Space Marines must stop his hive from wanton destruction and find the cause of this terrible threat. Fans of Jack Kirby, Warhammer 40K, and Valerian Epic Space sci-fi comics will love the Emerald Array. The books, okay, so let's take a look here. So it looks like you can get a digital copy or a what is this, paperback edition. Okay. You can get a few things. I do really see the Kirby-esque influence. James, I'm sorry, I missed that when you said it reminds me of some James O'Barr work. That was the Bionic guy, right? Because I was getting the same. I couldn't tell the artist, but I was getting a vibe of someone. But like when you look at James O'Barr stuff, I think it's obviously heavier shaded and rendered better, in the sense of building textures and stuff. But I believe that's who you were talking about. Oh, this looks kind of fun. I do love the costume that he's, I'm sure that's his military garb. And that must be the female hero. The Immortal Edge, hitting an Emperor. I don't know. I like this. This really, oh God, I feel like they, um, what freaking cartoon was it? I feel like they swiped that image from a cartoon series, or movie, an anime one. I can't place it, but it looks good. So for whatever you're looking at, when did I share this one? No. The Emerald Array is a 66-page novel of the Terran Imperium Chronicles universe that you love from the hit graphic novels Overmind and The Hidden Emperor. Never heard of either of those two. This story will knock your socks off. If you want to catch up on the whole universe, we have both of the other graphic novels and prose novels as add-ons. Okay. The comics will be published in stunning oversized formats similar to the Marvel omnibuses, making the art look even more impressive. We've had several great war. Okay. I think that's you can read the rest yourself. But this, where the hell is my mouse? There it is. But this looks to me like something I would back. I mean, I like the. I mean, when you're a kid, who doesn't like giant bugs being killed off by, soldiers with laser guns or whatever? I mean, that's, you know, isn't that the fantasy of like the cartoons of the '80s? Now, this one's from Silverline Comics. If you haven't read Silverline, they have a lot of good books. I've only read a couple. Um, I've backed some, I believe, a Silverline digital tier a while back, and I got a couple of other issues from Silverline. So, you can see here they have Bloodline one shot, Kalis 1, 2, 3, and 4. The Mannequin one shot, Trumps 1, 2, 3, and 4, and Twilight Grim 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I've never read these. I believe I read something else, unless I'm thinking of the wrong company. But I believe I read a different book, and I would need to look at what I've backed in the past, or look through. I could probably look through. I have a folder of digital books here, but let me put this in here. Check it out yourself. See what you're interested in. And let's look at what was the last one I picked up. Interplanet. Chapter 1 of an epic saga of two planets locked in Cold War. Spies, warriors, and evil wizards vie for control. All right. Now, again, who wouldn't love something like this? Look at this artwork. This is gorgeous. And I'm sure they took the text off of these pages here. I would, me personally, I would like to see this in black and white, or with gray tones. I think for me, the color kind of takes away something from it. I would love to see this. It kind of feels like one of the sci-fi stuff. I don't remember which title we looked at earlier. The Atlantean one. But yeah, for me, this. I mean, I still may back it. This looks great, but I don't know. Those colors were a little bright for my eyes here. And just as an artist myself, and I'm not knocking anybody's artwork or what their choices are, because listen, I haven't drawn an actual comic book in years. Okay, I did the Wiz for 2 years. which was a weekly 3 to 4 panel strip. You know, um, I didn't put in as much time or anything that these guys are putting into it right now. I'm just starting to do that again. But as an artist, and you can see it in like this panel here, I don't like when people render with color to build up facial features or to build up the, you know, the look and texture that way. Um, that's just my personal opinion. Maybe I'm old school. Maybe I still like my solid blacks with hatching. Um, you know, but I understand that we're in a digital age, and I'm not knocking it because I've worked digital for years. Um, it's just a preference for myself. I can see this art personally really shining as as a black and white, you know, much like that other Atlantean thing we saw. But here it is. Check it out. I still feel like I want to back this though. You know, um, did they say how many pages? $13 plus a teaser for volume 2. I'm just looking to see. Like, I love this panel right here. This is just great. This panel right here. I love the facial expressions. This though, my favorite right here. This is one of the best fantasy backgrounds for like a castle or something I've seen in a long time. Did I miss it? I'm just looking to see if they say anywhere how many pages this is. This book is 31 pages of story, and the art is almost done. The same is true for the letters. Okay. Yeah, by May 9th. Yeah, totally. I put that in there for you, right? Absolutely. Okay. Then I didn't think it was going to take this long, but wow. I went through everything I pulled out. I'm just going to end with my first one again. For those who weren't here, and I'll put it in, if you can, go to GoFundMe and help Peter David out. He's dealing with some medical stuff right now. A friend of his put this GoFundMe together. They're trying to raise $150,000. And as I mentioned, I can't talk for, I don't know him personally, and I can't talk for his health issues, but I know he's had some kidney issues. I believe he's on disability. I mean, I believe he's been on dialysis. I'm not sure. I don't quote me on that, but as someone who's had 2 kidney transplants, as someone who's been on dialysis twice in my life, and as someone who had my second transplant in 2011, I'm still dealing with side effects that, you know, other things have messed it up. But all my health issues currently basically come from my second transplant. So I know a little bit about what he's feeling. I know what it's like to have your body fail you. I know what it's like to be hooked up to a machine and watch your blood be pulled all out of you and then circulated right back into you. You know, it's a painful time, you know. You know, Peter David, like I said, is one of my favorite comic writers. If he ever feels up to it and feels good, he is one of my dream interviews, but I never reached out because I knew he was having health issues. But I do own a bunch of his work. And I ask if you can back it, you know, donate a little bit, whatever you can to help him out. Also, you can buy some of his prose books on Amazon. So you can just type his name into Amazon, look it up. There is a Zorro book for you Zorro fans out there that he wrote for Bold Venture Press. I haven't finished it yet. Finally started it about a month ago, and I put it down for other reasons. And I haven't picked it up, but I was really enjoying it. I'm hoping to get back to it in the next week or so. So if you can help him out, and honestly, I've put up a lot of great stuff, and I hope you back a lot of stuff. If you can back everything I shared, but if there's one thing specifically this is the one I highly recommend. So with that, let me stop the share. Oh, there I am. This thing has a fade now. It's pretty cool. Uh, I'm still learning Restream. I don't know 100% how it works. Wow. I've been talking a lot. My throat is dry. So, yeah. First off, thank you to everybody who hung out with me, who watched the stuff, who is later Dylan, who is able to back. I thank you. I do not get anything from any of the stuff that I've shared. Stuff that came from friends of mine are people who I support, financially when I can. I would love to be able to support more and support everybody. This show, when I started it back during the pandemic, was really about helping indie creators. And this might become a monthly part of my show, or I might start either starting my show or ending my show with a couple of crowdfunding pieces I think are worth my audience time. So I don't know. I kind of liked this. Might be fun to have a guest on that I could chat with about these crowdfunding sites, but it'd probably go a lot longer. We're almost at 2 hours here. I thought I was only going to do an hour tonight. So yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun sharing these with you. I had a lot of fun looking at these. To everybody, whether you're on Facebook or Instagram, who shared links with me, whether they're your own links or something you've backed and you thought I might like. For everyone I showed, thank you. For those I didn't, it didn't mean I didn't like it. I just had to pick. Some of you sent me longer. Oh, excuse me, longer campaigns that I know if I do this next month or later, or just even if I start posting stuff on Instagram stories or X or wherever I'm posting, I can share that and those will be going out over the next few days. But yeah, please check out all the links I sent. See what you like. If you see anything that you think I'll like, and I'm a big sci-fi fantasy geek. I mean, I love superheroes, but sci-fi fantasy is my go-to genre these days. Sure, send it to me. I'd love to see it. If you're working on it, send it to me. Let me know what your campaign is. Maybe I'll be able to bring you on as a guest, or at least share it in one of these types of videos that I do, or just share it to my social media to begin with. So yeah, with that, I'm going to wrap it up. I want to thank everyone who's watching. And I know some of these close up in the next few days. So anybody watching in the future, please pay attention to when these are ending. And if they're still open and you can donate or back, I'm sorry, I hate the word donate, and you can back it, please do so. And with that, I will see you next week with an actual guest in the studio, and we'll have a lot of fun then. All right. I will talk to you all later. You have a great night. Bye, guys.